NFL Print Factory is back with the full crew on a Friday. We got Big T, we got ODB, and of course myself, JSU. Hit the like button on the video if you enjoy this free video every single week on Friday. Tony, I got to throw it to you first here. Pen in your mouth and all, but how was your Thursday night? Was it a good slate for you?
Yeah, a boring slate. I did have the Rams, but I had a lot wrong. I don't think I got much back DFS wise. I didn't play the defenses. Definitely wasn't a good night for me. The only thing I really got right was Kyron and Puka, which everyone got right anyways. Those weren't even hot takes, but I said to play them everywhere. And the Rams, but nothing else right. I definitely had a bad night. I'll admit it.
Yep, I'm pretty much in the exact same boat as you. Got the game right from the side perspective, but not how the game was going to go.
Right away, though. They just start kissing your ass right away. Peyton Pritchard. I mean, they're calling you Peyton Pritchard now?
Hey, listen, I will just say last year that was a diss being called Peyton Pritchard because he sucked. But this year, 6th man of the year, Peyton Pritchard, baby. He's rolling right now. I mean, put up another just absolute fucking just awesome game last night. My guy,
I'm okay
Peyton
with
Pritchard.
all the takes except Rubio saying he's better than Trey. I'm still not okay with that, Rubio.
Yeah. You know what, though? He had to do it because he was on with me, and I know how he does. He needed to one-up me, and there was no way he was doing it unless he went, like, full Peyton Pritchard's better than Trey Young bullshit or something like that. So I know his games. I figured Rubio out. So
and I love the Knicks to bring it into the football talk too for ODB. Like Trey Young rolls the dice on the floor, right on the logo, talks his shit, and then the Knicks, because they're men, accept it. They say if we don't want him to do that, we can't let him win. That's how you handle it, Knicks. I like that's why you're my Knicks. We don't cry, we don't fight. They whooped us. Go ahead, celebrate on the logo.
Wait, you're a Knicks fan now?
As far as like rooting, I always like the Knicks. You make fun of me for liking the Knicks always. They're not like my team. I like them for fantasy because they play.
Oh, for fantasy. Yeah, for fantasy.
And I rooted for them that night too. I bet on them. They lost.
You bet on the Knicks that night?
Team.
I bet on the Hawks that night. You bet against me? Son of a AP. Where's AP at? Me and AP were on the Hawks. We were on the Hawks friggin' wagon that night against those Knicks. We rolled, AP. We rolled, baby. What's up, ODB? How was your poker last week? Did you win?
No, didn't win. And then I was in a huge spot yesterday and didn't win. And so I guess the good news is I get to do the show. I've been hot in NFL for weeks, and then I started off good last week, and now I've lost the last 6 games in a row. So I need some mojo back. I need I'm doing good, and I'm in 4 big season longs, all big dollars. Made the playoffs of all 4. Problem was last night I had a really tough decision, and I played Jennings in one of my big ones, which ended up being a big fail. So hopefully I can get some clarity on. I have a couple other spots to consider. So we'll talk about those as we break through these shows. Best ball, had a good best ball season. Got a lot of sweats coming up for that, and ready to dive in.
All right. I like that. Ready to dive in. Richie Smalls, best show of the week. We appreciate you, good sir. And we got 12 games to talk about here.
A lot of people missed ODB too. I will say they were clamoring for you the last week or two.
Yeah, I mean when ODB missed
me arguing with you too. That's the whole show.
Yeah, that's the best part.
I sat there at the poker table watching you guys and all kumbaya shit. And
I guarantee we fought about some stuff. We've been fighting a lot lately, so there's no way we weren't fighting about something.
You know, there's just nothing like a good ODB JSU battle royale where Big T sits back and watches.
Yeah, we got the game of the year this week with your Anthony Richardson versus my Bo Nix. So we got some shit to talk about later.
He's my Anthony Richardson.
Yes.
By the way, I couldn't even talk about this with you guys. fucking how lucky your boy Bo got when my boy Jameis Winston was fucking owning his ass until the very end. I mean, he got
he owned them.
that game. He threw that one sick pass from like his end zone. That was
literally one of the best throws of the year.
Oh my God. That thing was a rocket, and he threw it right out of his end zone. That was a badass pass. But
yeah,
Jameis Winston played so good in that game until, of course, first half
of my life, ODB. He talked so much trash, and his team didn't even cover. Like that's what I deal with. Right?
Hey, it's like you handicap a game, and then you're surprised that Jameis Winston throws interceptions.
Exactly how I said it was going to go.
That's literally
how I said I was.
That's literally that's literally the handicap. Is Jameis is going to do stupid shit. Even though he threw for 500 yards, he still threw stupid.
I know. I literally said it, ODB. I literally said he's going to throw a pick six, but he's going to also throw for like 400 yards and 4 touchdowns.
I can't believe how bad the Broncos defense was, because their defense is amazing. Sure. They got absolutely shredded.
Snowballs, though. You guys know that it snowballs sometimes. It just once it goes, it goes.
Yeah,
just like it did in that Buffalo game last week with the Rams. It just snowballed. Once it snowballs, it snowballs.
Dude, I had a friend who played all the qualifiers last week for live final, and he was in first place in 7 qualifiers for seats with 2 minutes to go in that Rams game. And the Puka touchdown followed by the Josh Allen touchdown went from 7 tickets to 0.
Oh God.
He scored 247 on his lineup.
You scored 247 and 7 Qs and you don't get any seats. That is tough.
Yeah, and it was all at the end. He lost them all at the end.
That was that week, though. I bet you the winner had like 2.
Your friend too, Big T, the guy we talk about.
Blake?
We know, good friends. Yeah,
Blake had 7 seats.
Oh, yeah, it's 7 seats locked up until until the end of that game.
Blake, that's brutal.
Mm-hmm. That's bad. Again, though, I bet you the winner ended up having like 260 because like those were the winning scores.
It was the Puka Allen. It was the Puka Allen combo.
Yeah. It was like the Puka Allen, and somehow if someone had like Justin Jefferson and Addison together was like the complete nuts. I think was like the actual Millie.
You had the two game stack with the 2 running backs. Is really,
but I don't even think Khalil Shakir ended up in the Millie winner. It was literally Josh Allen, Puka, the 2 Minnesota receivers. And then I forget who the final guy was, but I don't think it was a Bills guy somehow. Yeah.
Probably Mooney on the bring back, maybe, or something.
It was Mooney. Yeah, that's who it was. Yeah, it was Mooney. But all right, that's enough of last week. Let's get into this week here. And we'll start off with the man that I was referring to earlier, Jameis Winston's Cleveland Browns versus the Kansas City Chiefs in Cleveland. It's a 4-point spread and a 43 total here against the Chiefs. ODB, since you're back, throwing it to you first here in this game. 43 total, 4-point spread. Cleveland's at home. Tough loss last week. What are they doing here against the champs?
I don't know, man. I'm done picking Chiefs games. I pick against them, I lose. I picked with them last week. They win, but I still lose. I can't. I just can't. This line seems kind of ridiculous. I mean, the Browns suck. And the one thing that they're good at is defense and scheming against, but at the same time, I mean, Mahomes sucks too. I mean, Mahomes doesn't suck. Mahomes sucks for 55 minutes of the game. Like but the last 5 minutes, I mean, the team knows how to win. I don't know. You have one team that knows how to win, one team that knows how to lose. I don't know. I really legitimately have no feel for this game at all. I just know that when I was putting together DFS lineups, I kept landing on the Browns defense. I felt like they were cheap, and there's no good cheap defenses. And I thought the Browns were kind of cheap at home versus a terrible offensive line in Kansas City that Myles Garrett gets some sacks, maybe a turnover. But I really don't like anything for this game. I could see it being kind of one of those games that's whatever, 1916, or that 1916 could turn into 26-13 with 1 pick six. So I don't have a strong take here. I don't really like either of these teams very much. So
All right, Anthony. Not a strong take from ODB either way. Can you give us a take one way or the other?
So the flow chart always interests me. And one of the reasons I like doing the flow chart is just to see what weird shit pops up each week that I don't expect. And somehow the number one play of the week at quarterback is Jameis Winston in my flow chart. And it has a lot to do with Cleveland can't run the ball and Kansas City stuffs the run. So you're one-dimensional immediately. And the projects, these are the best flow chart spots to me because he's 24th in the projections, like total projection points, and he's the top flow chart play. So that means no one's going to play him. And the only risk, though, is I do kind of agree with ODB that I don't necessarily see a lot of scoring, but it's all one-dimensional. They're not going to run the ball. So you're going to get Jameis just chucking it. And I like that. I like Jerry Jeudy's look good. And it's just nice when you know a team can't run the ball. Like they're not going to be able to run it. That's nice because you know where they're going to throw it too. They don't have that many receiving options. It works fantasy-wise. But as far as the actual game, I don't love it either. I mean, I think we all three are kind of in unison with the Chiefs. We don't think they're good. When we take them, they suck. When we go against them, they win. I mean, there's no team that owns me worse than the Chiefs. So I'm with ODB there. Like I can't take the Browns against them though. I can't take the Browns. So if I had to pick, it would be the Chiefs again. But like DC said in the chat, Kansas City will probably win by 3. Kansas City will kick a field goal to win it. Browns will cover. Chiefs will win outright again. And I don't know. I don't like the game. I like Jameis though.
First of all, can I just say, did they cut Kadarius Toney? Can we get butt fumble Kadarius Toney off the damn screen? How is he returning punts for an NFL team? Get him out.
He's got to be done now. He's got to be done.
Dude, did you see that play? So he whiffs on the ball, then falls on his ass, then tries to like sit up to then grab the ball, but he's so damn like it was just so bad. I say this all to say, and I will say I've been taking the Chiefs a lot, but they just don't cover. And this is one of those spots where Cleveland is playing at least hard. Is Jameis Winston executing perfectly? No. That's why he's having good drive, bad drive, good drive, bad drive, bad drive, bad drive. But I do think they can cover in this spot. It's 4 points, like you guys said, or whoever said in the chat, maybe it was DC. Chiefs probably win by 3. Give me the Browns +4. I think they cover here. The Chiefs have just not covered consistently. I'm sure this will be the first time in weeks that they do, but I'll take the +4 with the Browns. And I like your take on the offense. Even if you don't play Jameis too, you can at least play a pass catcher from this, because I will say the Chiefs secondary has looked a little worse as the season has gone on. It's kind of slowly, but they're starting to leak a little bit back there. And, Jameis with, no Cedric Tillman, you got Jeudy, Elijah Moore, kind of clear spots or clear receivers. I don't think it's a bad look. So I'm taking the Browns +4. Let's move to the next game here. One of my teams, the Washington team versus New Orleans here, 7.5-point spread. I mean, Jaden Daniels season 43.5. I need you, Jaden Daniels. You're on every single one of my best. I swear to God, too, I think he's on every single advancing best ball team I have, Tony, is Jaden Daniels and Joe Burrow. They're like the 2 quarterbacks that I have on like every advancing team somehow. But those are my guys, and I need them this week. I have those stacks everywhere. I think they can get it done here against New Orleans, and New Orleans has no Derek Carr, so they will be rolling out. Was it Rattler or is it the other dude? Hainer. It's Hainer? Okay.
I mean, yeah, I'm not 100% sure, but
I think you're right. I think 100%. You're right. It's Hainer.
It's 100%.
Yeah, it's him. So we'll see him play here. And Tony, I'll just throw this right back to you. Can they muster up a little offense to keep this thing back and forth, or is this just one-sided?
Looks clear Washington to me. I mean, these teasers have been awful all year, but again, it's 7.5. And I can't see Washington losing this football game. I want to clarify, they've got whooped all year, these teasers. Road team too. Like, these are the games I've been losing all year. I just want to say that over and over because I have been. I've lost these games all freaking year, but I can't see it. Again, I think Washington wins. I think they cover even the 7.5, but I would rather just tease it. It's a clear teaser game. Tease it down to 1.5. But if I had to pick, I still like Washington. Fantasy-wise, though, I don't know if they go crazy. I think it's one of these games they just win like 21-7 or 6 and get out of there a little bit. So I kind of like the under just because I don't think New Orleans is going to be able to score with Haener and these weapons. They don't have any weapons. So I don't know. I like Washington. I don't love a ton of. They always look like locks, though, Richie. That's what I've been saying all year. They look like a lock. I think it's a lock. Believe me, deep in my heart, I think it's a lock, but I have lost these games all year.
This game you're not losing. I'll put my 0-0 streak on the line. This game you're not losing. I'm guaranteeing it right now. ODB, I just guaranteed something, so you better stay out of the way, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, this is Washington Roll Show. The Saints team was devoid of weapons before, and then they just lost Derek Carr. Kamara's banged up. Obviously no Taysom. Yeah, I think this is a roll show for the Skins. I need Jawan Jennings, one of probably my highest owned player that made it through. I mean, obviously not the best and the most important guy, but if somehow they could just filter the ball to that man, that could be very big for me. Jawan Johnson, what'd I say? Jennings?
You're still hurt over last night.
Yeah,
I don't want you
you're still hurt.
I always say that. Yeah, I need Jaden too. Jaden was my second highest owned quarterback advance rate, which is kind of crazy. If my advance rate on quarterbacks was kind of spread, but I have 12 out of 37 have Darnold. My next highest person is 6 with Jaden, but 12 Darnolds. I put my money where my mouth is. I said Darnold to start the year. I know everybody here does fantasy, so I don't mind interjecting a little of that stuff in there. I think the Redskins though win pretty easily. I would say Brian Robinson would probably be a good play on most slates, but and you could play him, but there's a lot of really good running backs this week, full slate, so he might actually be lower owned. The Saints have a pretty porous rush defense. So, and they're probably not looking to get Jaden killed in this game. So it wouldn't surprise me if Brian Robinson did something. He's never a click I like though, because I don't really feel like he has, I mean, he needs the 3 TD game for ceiling. So not really the most fun running back click, but I don't really see how the Saints are going to stop him. And I don't really see how the Saints are going to score. If somehow Kamara is ruled out, Kendry Miller's probably a reasonable play. But yeah, and nothing too much. I do agree it's not the best fantasy spot, but I don't really see Washington getting shown too much resistance here by the Saints.
Dumbest play of the year too was Derek Carr trying to jump over 4 defenders, and now he's out for the dumbest play I've seen all year.
I had to find this screenshot here. Shout out to KPG88 on Twitter. He added me after Kendry Miller scored. He bet first touchdown Kendry Miller at 13-1. I had to shout him out a little bit. He added me after that because I must have said something about him playing a little bit more on one of these shows, and he hit the winner on that. So I had to shout him out. That was a nice little hit for first touchdown. And I will say too, he got a lot more work in that game than even I thought. I thought he was going to play a decent amount. Like, he got 10 touches in the run game, and then he ran like 4 or 5 routes on top of that. And I could see with them pretty much done with no Derek Carr, they're pretty much done. I think he's only going to get more and more, as this, season goes on and stuff like. So it might not be this week. It might be though, because Kamara is banged up.
I could seriously see the coaches all hating Dennis Allen, and just giving Kendry just just to one last little fuck you to this guy who he seems like an asshole, and I'm sure he wasn't nice to the other coaches there. So I could see that just being
the fact that after he left, they brought this
you.
dude back, ODB. They got him in the end zone. They played him. He looked good too when he was out there. Like that was already kind of a little, fuck you, Dennis Allen, like screw you type thing. But I could totally see it here. So yeah, 4,500. I don't think I honestly don't think it's that crazy here, especially if the game gets out of hand. I mean, if the game gets out of hand, Kamara's out and Kendry's is probably, more in that spot too. So I like it. But yeah, I like my Washington team to roll in general here, and maybe some pass catchers, Tony. I don't know. We'll have to think about it for the Wood show. There might be some good pass catchers on the old Washington team. We can
if you guys do like ladders and stuff, like I mean, I could see taking alt spreads on this Washington team. I mean, they could easily just go out there and also so I worry about teams sleepwalking a little bit at this time of year and some spots. It's not going to be Washington. This is a young team that has not been very good lately. They really haven't, ball bagged anyone in a long time. I mean, this is like a good spot to kind of just get your feet beneath them. They should be really healthy. They didn't play last week. You have a 3-2-1 Cancun team and New Orleans. I mean, this really could just be just a complete roll show.
I like it. Congrats, watching Reaction TV, taking down a little $1,000 like that from last night. All right, let's keep it moving.
That ladder's a good call. Washington's going to lay some wood. I'm in on that.
Oh, now you're more confident. Before you were like, I
literally said they were going to cover when I talked about the game.
You're like, Richie's like the 1.5, the teaser, it's a lock, and Richie, that's what's been killing me this whole year.
JSU, that's the whole point of the show is to come in with some take and then have us talk about it and then leave with stronger.
I literally said they were going to cover, and then you get on me still.
You fucking puss. You literally said, Richie, where you at? Richie, confirm. Damn it.
I just want to say that we have the great DC in the chat today. I mean, that is
we're on fire this week.
We're blessed with fantasy royalty here.
I get the pleasure of being on a second show with DC later today for some hoops. So get the double dipper. Maybe Tony will show. I don't know. He might. Maybe I'll
look at Josh D in the chat. Only one noticing that I've lost a bunch of weight.
How does he tell? We can't see your frame.
My face. I've lost like 35 pounds.
I like it.
Love that.
Thanks for noticing, Josh D.
Love that. All right. Well, there we go. Let's move.
Your face does look skinnier. I just wasn't checking your face out before that.
Now that he says it.
But I like it now that he says it.
Now that he said, Tony's like, now that he says it, you're right. He lost 35 pounds.
How many times Uncle T gonna type this same thing in? Twice and one back to back. He got you for it. I can see both of them on the screen.
The over is not. It's the line was not that low, Uncle T. There's no way. First of all, there's just zero chance it was that low. So there's no shot I cashed an over. All right,
Baltimore. A lot of love in the chat today. They're coming.
I mean, they don't want me to miss it. They don't want me to miss anymore. I mean, I'm gonna have to put my day twos on hold and just come in here and do the show.
I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Oh, be there.
If I miss next week, we might have some real sweats. I'm playing the 10K WPT main event, 5 million probably for first. So if I miss next Friday, well, that means we might be down to the final table or two. So
like that.
All right. Well, we might be sweating you live on the show then, if that's the case. We might be live on the show sweating you out.
Stream while at the table, he said. Kenny Powers? Yeah. Is that my boy Kenny Powers?
It's like your favorite character of all time, Kenny Powers.
He's up there.
He's got to be up there. It's either him or
Larry David.
Larry David. Yeah, one of those two guys. Yeah.
I think I like Larry David even more. His
you
sense of humor.
Think so?
I mean, Kenny's funny, but Larry David literally, Amber makes fun of me because she just hear me laughing so loud every freaking episode. That's my exact humor, though. Like the dry humor, that is my exact humor.
That's why we get along. I'm a mini Larry David.
That is why we get along. We do like that same stuff, though. I'm a mini Larry David.
Curb is definitely your.
Actually, I'm
thing.
a Max. I'm a fat Larry David.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. You're slimming down. Apparently, lost 35 pounds. This is slimming down. All right, let's try this for the 10th time here.
We got 47
Ravens
games
and
to go
Giants, as Tony interrupted me like 6 different
How many
times.
shit games can we start out with? These people are going to tune out. Let's get to some good games.
There's so many bad games. I'm trying to get them over with, ODB. I'm trying to get them over with. Ravens and Giants, 16.5 point spread, so 42.5 total. Guys, if you're not betting this game, you can literally just say pass on this game. Like ODB, if you don't like this game, you can just say pass.
All I know is I'm going to have that game on, and it's going to be on a big screen. I've got Lamar in 2 giant matchups, and I'm fading Derrick Henry in every single best ball, which is incredible to have to fade Derrick Henry versus the New York Giants in a 16-point spread. So I'm scared to death of this football game. I need Lamar to score some touchdowns without Derrick Henry somehow. As for the game, I don't like the game, but this is a Baltimore Ravens special. Everybody thinks this line's too high, but like there's one thing Baltimore's good at, and that is blowing teams out that are not good at football. So, and that this Giants team stinks. They quit. I don't know what to do with Neighbors. I have him in a big league. I have to make a decision to play him or not. I don't know if the guy, I mean, against the Ravens in a negative script, you should think he should crush, but who knows? He might actually just pull himself out of the game in the first quarter.
Can't play him, ODB.
Yeah, I don't know.
I love Neighbors, but can't do it. Can't do it.
Yeah,
well,
and no Drew Lock.
For sure, but
like Drew Lock's not playing in this game.
First day with Danny DeVito. Yeah, I don't see the Giants scoring too much here, and I don't see them ever stopping Henry and Lamar. So
on top of that,
it's Ravens or nothing for me.
The Ravens are coming off of a bye. Like this is just the Ravens, just absolute smash spot. I don't know how you can get anything else from it. Tommy DeVito's not moving the needle here for this Giants team that's quit, pretty much all gone home. Tony, yes, no, blowout.
Yeah, I mean, I was the first one on the Giants are done bandwagon, and it's been pretty good to me. There's no way I'm getting back on against the Ravens, I'll tell you guys that. So I'm with you guys. I mean, the only thing is, like, am I ever going to go crazy on a 16.5 spread? No. Could they be up 21 in the fourth and the Giants go score? Like, sure. But yeah, I'm on the Ravens if I got to pick, and it's probably Derrick Henry, which isn't good for ODB. I could see them just slamming him up the middle, but who knows?
All right, let's go to Tony's team here. Cincinnati Bengals still alive in this playoff race. We'll see if that continues. But Tennessee Titans at home. Titans 5-point underdogs at home in a 46.5 total here with the Bengals, who pretty much, put up points against everyone. But their problem is that other teams can put up points on them too, even the not so good offenses here. So, Tony, are you taking the Bengals to cover in this spot? 5-point favorites in Tennessee.
Yeah, to no one's surprise. All the teams, the same speech I gave on the Monday show, they played all good teams that they lost to besides New England week 1. All good quarterbacks and good teams. Now they get the shitty Dallas guy and Will Levis back to back. There's just no way I'm taking Tennessee against Burrow and Chase Brown. I mean, there's just no way. So it is, I will say Tennessee does always play Cincinnati weirdly tough. It's just always been that way. So I agree that I think Tennessee's probably the sharp side of the bet, but I just can't do it. Will Levis stinks. Tennessee stinks. Cincinnati, I still go ahead. Everyone make fun of me. I still think's good. I don't care that I'm getting made fun of. I like Cincinnati.
ODB, I know you're a Cincinnati guy too. You like a little Cincinnati here? Are you on the same wavelength as Big T?
I don't really have a ton of conviction, but if again, I'm leaning Cincinnati. I just don't think Tennessee's the type of offense that can exploit this poor Bengals defense, and the offense right now for Cincinnati is a wagon. I mean, Chase Brown is really good. Obviously, they've got, probably the best 1-2 punch at receiver in the NFL. You've got top 5 quarterback. And even though the Cincinnati defense is bad, I mean, they've been able to get a little pressure. And, when you get Levis under pressure, he kind of does some stupid shit. So, yeah, I could see Cincinnati getting the job done here. I still feel like they probably got to think they're still in the playoff hunt. They do get a game against Denver, which, if you're a Cincinnati backer, you got to just think like, okay, we win that game, we're 1 game back. So if we win out, we just need Denver to lose 1 more game. Denver's got, the Chiefs to play and the Chargers. So it's not like Denver is just a lock to get through this unscathed. So from a Cincinnati standpoint, I think that you kind of feel like you might be able to run the table and get a late push. There's always some team that does it. So yeah, I think Cincinnati's going to play hard here. Dallas kind of gave them that game at the end. So yeah, I could see Cincinnati. I liked Dallas in that Cincinnati game, but I think Dallas actually has a lot more weapons than Tennessee, even though the quarterback is probably similar to Tennessee as far as in skill set wise. I do like, they do have more game breakers, I think, on Dallas on offense. So I felt like that was a good spot, but Tennessee is getting 5 when Cincinnati was getting 6. I mean, Dallas was getting 6. I think Dallas is better than Tennessee personally. So I think you're getting maybe a touch of value here on Cincinnati.
The key part too that I think a lot of Tennessee and Dallas is super similar, but Dallas's pass rush too just is so much better than Tennessee's, that just that extra little boost. I agree. Like, how is it only a 1-point difference really between Tennessee and Dallas? Same spot. It's got to be more. It just has to be.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is a perfect spot for Joe Burrow. You got a Tennessee team that's tough to run against, especially in the middle. But you can get them. I think Joe Burrow throws for a lot of yards. If Tennessee can put up a fight, then he could really explode for a big game. So, and I like Chase Brown in the passing game. So I'm probably going to bet Chase Brown's, receiving prop, probably a little alts there, just because I don't think they're going to have a ton of success, running him, up the middle. But we saw them try and get more and more of Chase Brown involved in the passing game. I mean, they tried to hit him in the back of the end zone for a pass, and Joe Burrow they were just off on the timing of it. There was just not enough space. But man, he's already had some big games receiving, and I think against this spot, it's such a good spot for him.
Yeah,
as a receiver, even though he's a running back, I think the receiving prop is where it's at for someone like Chase Brown here.
I like Chase Brown. I kind of think that this is, from a DFS standpoint, I would play Higgins over Jamar Chase. I think just Burrow saying, what he said about them possibly keeping T, wanting to keep T. He thinks that they have a chance to keep T. After Jamar just lit up the scoreboard on Monday night in front of everybody, I think this is like a good yin yang spot to come back and try to get T off. Also, I gotta assume that everybody was going to want to play Chase over T. I know the projections have them pretty close, but I just the mindset of people is I'm not gonna choose Chase. I mean, Higgins put up like 5 points and Jamar put up like 50. So I feel like just the psychological mindset and of people and players would lean towards Chase. So I think Higgins outperforms Chase this week.
God, you wanna know something? There's no one I hate to click on more than T. Higgins. I know you guys like him. I think he is so overrated. I mean, this dude, He falls
This is a
down
bad
and his
take.
pinky hurts. I mean, like he falls down. My knee. He's such a fucking wuss.
he's a
I
softie.
can't stand T.
There's
Higgins.
difference between being bad and soft, though. He's soft for
Did
sure.
you? I mean,
he's soft. He's soft, but he's also
there was one play at the
really
very
good.
beginning of the game where it was like just a 5 route, just turn back to the quarterback and just simple catch. And he throws it a little low, but hits T's hands. And the defender, like, he hit him right after that, and he just drops the ball. Like, that's just T. Higgins to it. He does it every single time. Like, dude, you just catch through the concept.
You're talking me into more T than every minute.
I hate rostering T. Higgins. I literally can't do it.
As a Bengals guy that watches him, the problem with clicking T, and I do it plenty, is God, when you're wrong, it's painful. Because Jamar just full shoves it. Just no lube, no nothing, just full.
That's right, Beanair. Get on the right take
like
here.
Every take of your life.
I mean, seriously though, Jamar, I know there's a difference in price, but 8,400, 6,800, like,
yeah, that's what everybody's going to think.
There's always 3 or 4 team weeks.
But I don't agree with that because it's all projection. I bet you projections, they're going to push T. Higgins. I bet you the Sims are going to be all over T. Higgins. Like, yeah, I bet you they're going to push.
They're ranked 1-2 in best values right now.
They were last week too. They just keep, because you said it. This Bengals offense is a wagon. They just need some D.
Wagon. Yeah, it's literally a wagon. I might just have to
traded too. They don't use anyone besides these main guys.
No, you literally play Chase or T, and then you can play Chase Brown. And then, like, that's it. Like, you really don't have to play anyone.
Don't look at Burrow like that either, but he gets 25 plus every week too. They just churn numbers.
Well, because he's just like a lock for the 300 bonus, like, all the time. I mean, it's so, you get 2 touchdowns and 300 bonus, like, that's just is what it is.
Bengals game depresses me. I can't believe they're in this situation. They're too good to be in this situation. You guys are tormenting me talking about it.
Softy.
Joe Burrow's stats are so ridiculous.
It's unbelievable that they can't make the playoffs with these 2 guys. And I'm tilted because our other friend Josh made me take Amon-Ra over Jamar Chase in our high stakes, and I've tilted it the entire season.
No. See, no. This isn't Josh's fault. This is your fault. You should have been a man, and you should have yelled at him.
The percentage, so it's his fault.
Oh, see, you didn't tell me that.
And everyone was scared. Like, where's all the people that were like, he's not going to play without a contract. He's not going to play. Now he's the number 1 receiver by a mile.
Wait, Chase or T?
Chase. Everyone said that when he was holding out. Like,
my favorite thing about the preseason fantasy was at the start of it, I had Chase and Jefferson like up at the top. And then as it kept going on, everybody just kept getting scared. And it's like the contract and Sam Darnold, and they pushed it. And it was like, if you got the 7th, 8th pick, 9th pick, you were just like, oh shit. Like I'm going to get stuck with Chase or Jefferson. You get 4 and you're like, oh, I get to take Amon-Ra. And it's like, hey, Jeff, just take the guys who are super talented.
I think we picked 4th or 5th.
Yeah, and just take it's shocking. Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase, 2 absolute freak athletes, are better than slot merchant Amon-Ra. I mean, I love Amon-Ra. Don't get me wrong, but I mean,
he's just not.
He's very good.
I mean, we're nitpicking here because Amon-Ra's like still one of the best fantasy guys.
He's just different good though.
Yeah.
Like, different. More of a Jamar.
He has to win on volume.
That guy.
Yes. Yeah. And Jamar is obviously outscoring him because Jamar, when he's having big games, he's putting up 50. And when Amon-Ra's having
50 pieces, basically.
I know. And when Amon-Ra has a big game, it's like 30 or 28.
Yeah, like
so there's a difference. Yeah, so there's a massive difference.
Because his is all PPR. Like Jamar's is all, he can house anything. Amon-Ra's not housing these ones he's housing.
No.
Amon-Ra
catches it and goes down after 14 yards.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we somehow spent 15 minutes talking about the Bengals. I wonder why on this show. But no biases here, of course. We have no biases towards any team in the NFL. Miami versus Houston here. Houston, 3-point favorites at home, 46.5 total. We're just going from team to team to team here. ODB, bringing it right to you here with your Houston squad. Favorites at home.
Finally, a game I actually have a real take on. I love Houston in this spot. Obviously, if you watch the show, you know that I've supported Houston. That being said, I'm not blind to, their struggles of late, and I haven't been just blindly picking them. But this is at home after a bye versus a team I don't trust in the Dolphins. I still do not think the Dolphins are good. They struggle against the Jets. They struggle on the road. They got worked by the Packers. This Texans team, yes, CJ's been struggling, but the defense is good. The defense gets pressure. The defense causes turnovers. The defense gets sacks. I think the Texans can just shut down the Dolphins team. And I think the bye really came at a nice time. I think they can look back. They get Nico. He's fully back now. Mixon's been good. I just think at home, a fired up Texans team is going to take care of a very mediocre Dolphins team. I really don't think the Dolphins are much better. I mean, most people don't think the Texans are much better either, but I don't think the Dolphins are. They're just a very, very mediocre team. I mean, I don't even think they're that much better than a team like the Browns. I just think they're like whatever, especially on the road. I do not trust the Dolphins on the road at all. I think you're getting a nice discount here on the Texans because nobody likes them because they haven't looked that good.
Yes, they have not looked that great. Tony, I'm building out a parlay, so you go and talk about this game while I finish my parlay.
Yeah, I agree. Miami, and it's a weird matchup for Miami too, because Houston's defense is way better against the run too, where Achan's such an important part of this Miami offense right now, and he's not a standard running back because he can do a lot in the pass game. But I love the matchup for Houston, and I don't like Houston, so I'm the opposite of ODB as far as like futures and stuff. I don't like Houston at all, but I like them in this spot a lot. I think they match up perfect with Miami. Miami matches up good with some teams, but I just think Houston matches up perfect on both sides of the ball. I think the 3 is a gift. I honestly expected it to be like 3.5, so I like not having to give the extra half. I love it. I think I like the under too, though, so I don't love it fantasy-wise. I just don't see Miami being able to score on them. I feel like Houston's defense is in a really good spot here with how they match up because Tua – I'm not a Tua fan. I see them struggling to score, so I'm definitely on Houston. As far as fantasy, though, I don't know if I like any of the plays fantasy-wise. Tank Dell, maybe. It's just because he's 5,400, but I think it's an under spot, and we can talk more about that, obviously, on Sunday on the wood. But
you can always play Nico.
You can always play Nico for sure. He's one of those guys you can always play. He's expensive, but he'll be low owned because of it. And you can always play Nico.
All right. Well, someone's got to be on the other side of you two donkeys, and I will be that person. I will take that badge of honor and be against both of you because I am a known Houston hater, and I despise this team. I told you they were not good a while back. They're not good. They did get, obviously, their better pass rushers back a couple weeks ago, and Will Anderson and, Nico and stuff like that. Nico is really good, but this team
they just got their best 2 players back. You just said, I'm not a Houston guy, but they just got
well, I'm
two
not.
Of the best players.
They got him back like 2 weeks ago, though, or 3 weeks ago, whenever it was.
It's just funny how you said it, though. Like 2 of the best players in football, they got back.
Well, okay, whatever. Either way. This team underperforms when you expect them to perform. It's like the reverse. Like in this game here,
yeah, but nobody's expecting
here,
them
though.
to perform.
Home favorites. This is the game. Houston loses. They lose outright. Miami wins, and on top of it, I like going up against Miami when they're outside in bad weather against teams that the run stuff. I do agree with Tony on that stuff, but they do a really good job of getting the running backs involved in the pass game, and their passing game is starting to click in general with Waddle and Tyreek Hill and stuff. And I don't want to get too far into DFS either, but I think I'm going to get sucked into playing one of those receivers here. So yeah, I'm on the Miami side here, and I think they went outright. But 3 money line, I'll bet both.
Do you buy into? I've heard a lot of people commenting that when D'Amico was defensive coordinator for the Niners, that they completely shut down this Miami team, and maybe that they hold that D'Amico kind of knows how to scheme for this team. I don't know how real that is or how much that plays into, one game with different players and a different system. But I feel like this Miami team is kind of one of those, if you know how to beat them, you beat them. And if you don't, you get worked. It's kind of like
the Bills with Miami and stuff like that. Like how the Bills just always crush them and stuff. Like, I don't know. Yeah, maybe. I mean, I could certainly buy into it if there's like a track record where a coach has just consistently dominated a team and a scheme and, a certain coaching staff for a while or, whatever. But I didn't Shanahan like dominate McVay for a while? And then McVay's won like 3 of the last 4 or something like that. So I don't know. I mean, the players have a lot to do with it too. It's not just, it is scheme, but I don't know. Do I buy into it? Maybe. Tony, do you buy into that stuff?
Yeah, I love that stuff. I love the narratives. And San Francisco's got a unique structure, which Miami's off the San Francisco tree, obviously. And if you can shut down their system, I'm not saying I know anything about this particular situation, but I agree overall. Yeah. I agree overall totally that teams have.
That's kind of more my stances. I didn't hear that, so I don't.
I've always believed in matchups though in every sport because there's just matchups that don't work for teams, and that goes for everything. So I totally agree, and that's some of the biggest edges when you can find stuff like that. So I agree with that part.
By the way, I just finished my parlay. If anyone was wondering, I'm going to give it out on the show. Yeah, I just finished it. Leave me alone. And it's all on the Bengals game because this is a pro Bengals show here because all we want to talk about is the Bengals. So I bet the Chase Brown under rushing, 40-plus yards receiving. And then T. Higgins, because I talk so much shit, he's going to score a touchdown now. So I'm putting him in my parlay. And Nick Westbrook-Akine with the Bengals money line. That's 65-1. Put a little 250 spot on that one right there. Just for the people right there. So thank you. Thank you.
Good luck with this Nick Westbrook-Akine fucking
don't talk about my guy. He scored like 9 touchdowns for me this year. Leave me alone on my guy, Nick Westbrook-Akine.
Yeah, scored a lot of touchdowns. We almost got another one last week. It hit him in the hands.
The dude could be like almost leading the NFL in touchdowns receiving. And ODB is like, don't even give me that bullshit Nick Westbrook-Akine guy. Like all he does is catch touchdowns, except for last week.
Yeah, he's Chris Carter.
All right. Let's go to the next game here. We've got New York Jets versus the Jacksonville Jaguars here. 3-point spread. I saw Evan Ingram got moved to IR, so his season is done. Jags at home.
The Jets are favorite on the road?
Yeah.
What?
Yep.
Oh, my God.
Well, you start with this game then, 40.5 total. I mean you just laughed.
This game, but I could not imagine betting the Jets on the road as a favorite. What are they playing, a handicap team? I mean, they're favorite on the road. Give me Jacksonville.
You went handicap team and then just give me
Jets are favorite on the road? Are we kidding?
No, I was just laughing. I thought it was funny. I thought it was. You didn't want to talk about the game, and then you went in on the Jets saying they're a handicap team.
It's got to be the worst game of the week as far as the two teams.
As far as the two teams, yeah.
It's got to be the worst game.
I was gonna say
there's no way I'm ever laying points on the road with the Jets.
Yeah, I mean the Jaguars, they hung in tough. I mean it was the Titans, but that game was awful too. Did you guys watch that game? I struggled getting through that game. That game it had to be the worst game of the week. Watching that game, but Jags and Titans, terrible to watch.
It was on the TV.
Yeah, it was terrible. ODB. Are you laughing too with the Jets being favored on the road?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have any strong conviction because on talent alone, you would think that the Jets would be the play, but on heart, they have negative heart. Jacksonville seems like they're still fighting. The Jets, I mean, any kind of heart or momentum that they may have had by going out and maybe showing up and winning a game against the Dolphins, they found a way to collapse and not only lose the game, but not even fucking cover. Yeah, I'm not really even really sure what was the Jets' plan this week. They play in Miami. Did they go home back up to New York in the cold and then going to fly back to Florida again, or did they spend the week in Florida, drinking Mai Tais on the beach, or what? I don't know. Either way,
travel portion of the season, they had to go home and come back.
Either way, I can't see a way that this Jets team gets up for this football game. I mean, Rodgers is spending more time promoting his Netflix documentary and bagging on ESPN for having opinions because he sucks at football. Yeah, I mean, it's Jacksonville or nothing for me on this one. It is tough to take Mac Jones and Doug Peterson seriously, though. But yeah, I definitely can't take this Jets team seriously. You're like Breece Hall is going to play in this game. Like, what's up with that? Like,
I won't believe it till I actually see it.
Yeah, is that actually
sit out, big boy? Sit out.
Yeah, sit out, big boy. I agree. We need some backup running backs coming in there for us too.
I mean, whatever. You can't even play. I mean, they got two guys. You can't even fucking play either one of them, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can't play.
Getting some of those dudes in there, but yeah.
Yeah, I can't play the Jets. This is by far the most disappointing dumpster fire of the year, and I can't imagine them just deciding to get up to play the Jags in Week 15. Like, it doesn't matter. So yeah, I'm off this game or I'm on the Jags. I'll decide on Saturday or Sunday. I'm sure I'll put a little something on the Jags.
I hope Sauce is playing. He better be playing. I think Brian Thomas dusts him here. I'm on the Jags too. Give me the Jaguars +3. We're riding together. Finally, we agree all on something here. Dallas and Carolina. Carolina 3-point favorites at home to Dallas here. It's a 43 total. Carolina's been playing better. Tough games against Philly. And then obviously the Bucs game where they were right in that game too. Bryce Young's been playing a lot better for this team, and that's how they sit as a home favorite to the Dallas Cowboys, on top of the Cowboys not being that great either, but they're still fighting. I mean, the Cowboys aren't like, I wouldn't say they're like the worst team of like the bad teams, the struggling teams. They're definitely not the worst. And I'll take the 3 points with the Cowboys. I think they can hang around in this game, and I think they could even, put up a fight and win in Carolina. I know Carolina's been playing better, but they're home favorites, 3-point favorites. Like, I'm not doing that with Carolina, even though they've looked better. So give me the Cowboys. I think we see a lot of Chuba and Rico Dowdle in this spot. So I kind of like both those guys, but ODB, what do you like here? Cowboys and Panthers.
Yeah, I mean, those two running backs, along with Chase Brown, are my favorite running backs of the slate. I mean, Chuba obviously is going to be massively owned. He's got to be the smashiest of smash spots. So, yeah, I mean, Chuba is amazing. And Rico just has the full-time role now, and Carolina's not very good versus the run. I mean, we saw what Bucky Irving did to him 2 weeks ago. So, yeah, Carolina's playing really well. Dallas is not very good, but I think the pendulum might have swung too far. Like, sometimes just momentum gets it. I think Dallas was like opened up at like 1, and then now it's gone. Then it went to 1 the other way, and then 2, and now 2.5, and it's probably going to hit 3. I'll just buy back on the Cowboys a little bit, but no real conviction.
It's at 3 already. It's
DK, so you got two pretty bad teams with not a lot to play for, but I can understand if you like Carolina just because they are the one that's playing well, but I don't know. The pendulum probably has swung a little too far for me here. You still have talent across this Dallas roster, so it's just a matter if they decide to play or not. No strong conviction on the actual play. as far as bets, but from fantasy, I definitely love both running backs. They'll probably both be pretty chalky, but that's okay. I mean, they're priced mid-range, and you kind of need some of that. So give me mid-range running backs that are going to carry 90 to 95% of the volume versus bad defenses. I mean, I'll take that recipe all day.
Hey, ODB, I had a question for you. Do you like 8 receptions for 10 targets and 100 yards? Do you like 9 receptions for 11 targets for 102 yards? Do you like that? Do you like touchdowns?
I do like that. Who is that?
You know who's doing that? That's that guy by the name of Adam Thielen, the guy that Tony made fun of me for. Oh, he's going against Philly now. You play Adam Thielen. You do it. See what happens. You play Adam Thielen. Oh, yeah, it's fine. Adam Thielen just went 9 for 11 for 102 yards. It's cool. It's fine. 22 fantasy points. I like 22 fantasy points. Tony, you like 22 fantasy points?
I mean, who likes 22? You sound like Mangone. I'm so happy for your 22.
For 4,800, for 5,300.
I mean,
you don't
just
like
gave
22?
that whole speech for 22. I couldn't wait to hear you were talking about. I'm like,
I thought he was going to say Amon-Ra.
Look at this dude. You're telling me Adam Thielen scores 22 points,
and we got that long of a speech? Did you practice that in the mirror this morning?
Wait a second. What are we expecting from Adam Thielen upside right now? He scores 22.
I don't know if it deserved a 10-minute speech about it. I mean, it was impressive.
A 10-minute speech. That was like a 30-second.
Against him after you give a 10-minute speech.
That was like a 30-second speech.
I mean, you were into it.
Good call, JSU. You nailed it.
Thank you. You were ready.
Hey, I was ready too. I couldn't wait for that. I literally, I won't say.
Remember it?
No, I did not make notes. That was on the fly. That was all natural because we don't script shit here. But I will say this: I could not wait to talk about Adam Thielen just because he fucking needled me on the show last week, and I just couldn't take it anymore. I just couldn't take his Adam Thielen slander.
Nothing better than pumping up the slow possession white receiver on a shitty team.
I mean, fuck, he's slow, he's white, and he scores 22 fantasy points, and Tony shits on it. I mean, what do you want the guy to do?
Even what I was making fun of how you were tilting your face off about him. You talked about him all Sunday, and then he caught it after you were crying about him and got you to the winner's circle the week before.
That's right. He did.
I was making fun of that, but
he should wait a second. He should have had 2 touchdowns
this
though
is
that
what
week.
I was making fun of right here. Exactly what you're talking about.
Bullshit. I had 2 touchdowns for like 35-1.
He's probably not a bad play this week. That we already saw how bad this Dallas D is. So a lot better this week than versus I think you probably got a good run out against Philly. I'll play that game 20 times without Adam Thielen in my lineup with a team.
I definitely got a good run out against Philly, but against Tampa, he was the nuts and no one liked them.
Well, Tampa's number 1 on the flow chart, right?
Yeah. But, Big T wasn't on at the end of that show, so we couldn't fight about it.
I like Thielen that week. That's what you're having the same conversation. I didn't like him versus Philly.
No, I know, but I'm saying Tampa. You weren't on the show.
Pivot off of Chalky David Moore that week.
This is a quote from Big T. I just want everyone to know this. He said, and I quote, JSU, what was your play of the day? And I said, oh, it was Adam Thielen. And I said, I don't know if you would have made fun of me for it. And he looked at me and he goes, he was okay. I mean, he was a good pivot off of David Moore. I probably would have made fun of you though, but he was a good pivot. Like that was his legit quote right there on the show.
Yeah. Anyway, now that you're done and you guys both picked the dustiest team, the Cowboys, I'm going to take your boy Thielen and I'm going to beat you with him. Give me Mr. Thielen. Give me the Panthers. I mean, the Cowboys on the road, they just had their Super Bowl. Monday Night Football, they got beat. They fumbled a freaking punt like Leon Lett. This is the easiest game of the week. The Panthers are playing good. The Cowboys suck. It's at home. I mean,
I can see it.
This game is so freaking easy. I mean, Cooper Rush. Oh, God, Stevers. Don't get him going again. The hand motions, the hat. I mean, Carolina's easy. Carolina, I'm playing Thielen too. I'm going to core Thielen just to whoop JSU.
Chat, see what I do here? I got Tony all amped up just for you guys. That's my job on this show. My job is to get him amped up, to get him ready. I like it. I like the conviction. Get in there, Tony. Get in there on your Panthers. I'll play Thielen. I won't bet the Panthers, but I'll play Thielen with you 100%.
Cowboys suck.
JSU check notes on Panthers. Hold on. They blow too. Like, what are we? What? Come on. They're home favorites.
They've been playing good.
All right. Well, we'll see.
I like how
we'll
they almost just beat freaking Philly. They should have beat them.
We'll see. All right. 2-on-1 there. Me and ODB riding with the Cowboys.
Happy when you both picked out.
I'm off. I'm off that.
Yeah, get on the right side.
1-1. Wait, are you on the Cowboys or are you just off? Like you don't want this
off.
game?
I'm just off.
No, get on the Panthers.
All right, I'll be on the Panthers.
Yeah, there we go.
I have no conviction on this game.
Yo, man, Leggett, that was actually really funny when he talked about the raccoons. You guys see that with the St. Brown podcast?
Yeah.
No, you didn't see that?
I
thought that was funny. His accent is the best. I love that dude. It's fucking awesome. ODB knows ball. There's DFS Dom. Known Panthers supporter, big Panthers guy, but I'll allow it because I like DFS Dom here. So, all right, there we go. Let's go to the 4 o'clock.
White cock.
That's right, Dub KJ. Get in there. Let Tony know. Fuck it. I can't believe you're playing.
Told me, he said.
Leave my guy Beanair alone, Dub KJ. Leave him alone. He's the only one that's consistently on Team JSU. I can't be killing my supporters like that. I only got a few of them. New England and Arizona here. 6-point spread. Arizona favored at home. 46.5 total. Kyler Murray, not really playing that great the last couple games. Putting up, modest numbers from a fantasy perspective here. But solid matchup against the Patriots at home. My issue is I don't really love the back and forth with the Patriots. But I do think Kyler Murray could have a nice, bounce back game here. It's at home. I think I like the Cardinals in this spot. I know it's 6 points, but I think they beat the Patriots kind of handily here. I think it's like a 28-14 type game. So I'm on the Cardinals here. I like their offense in this spot. ODB, what do you like here? Patriots and Cardinals.
From a betting standpoint, I like the Patriots. I think the Patriots are kind of feisty, and I think they can give the Cardinals a run for their money. I love this game fantasy-wise. My first lineup I put in had Drake. He's running the ball. I think the Cardinals defense can give up. I could see the Cardinals scoring with them. I like Harrison a lot in this game. I like McBride in this game. And I think I don't really love the stack with May. I just think he's kind of cheap, but I mean, I wouldn't mind putting Booty or Henry with him, but I don't even think you necessarily have to. It just, the 5,600 Drake opens up a lot of things, but I could kind of see like a situation, that big lineup that won last week with Josh Allen with a Puka bring back. I could see Derek May or Drake May. I mean,
he
running
can
the
be
ball.
Derek until he improves. I agree. We'll call him
He's
Derek.
been pretty good. I don't know what you want. But yeah, I could see this being an up and down game, and I could see a lot of fantasy points here. I'm going to take 6 points because I don't think Arizona is playing well enough to lay 6 points versus a team that hasn't quit. But yeah, I like all the pieces here offensively. I do think that there's potential to all the guys are priced cheap enough too, where you can go ahead and get a lot of other good guys in your lineup. It's not like a stack that's going to, decimate you from a price standpoint and not leave you up to any stars elsewhere. So you can get stars elsewhere or really good mid-range players and have a little mini game stack here. So, but I like the Patriots. I like them quite a bit. They're one of my top 5 games of the week. I think that the Patriots are going to give them a game, and I wouldn't even be surprised if they upset them when it's all said and done.
All right, Tony. Sato wants to know when the flow chart will be up, by the way.
So, like what most weeks, it's done. I just got to put the names on it. I got the teams right now, so I need to move the names on it. I'll try to get it up after NBA tonight. If not, it'll be up tomorrow for sure. I'll try to get it up today, though. So the Cardinals, we were on starting the year. We were on them a lot of the year. I just feel like I got to get off them. They just haven't looked good to me at all. Seattle waxed them last week, too. I watched most of that game. Seattle just owned them. The score might not have even been totally relevant to how it actually went. I just felt like Seattle dominated them. And Kyler, this always happens with Kyler. It's almost like Miami in its own way. Miami always, you feel like, dies as the season goes on. Different. Kyler just sucks. I just think he's terrible. And I don't know. I can't put I like Drake more than Kyler. I don't think Drake's been amazing, but I think I just don't like Kyler. And I like McBride. I like Harrison. I should like Arizona, but man, they've looked bad. I mean, they've looked really bad, and I'm not 100% sure they can turn it around. So I need the points. I got to take New England here. I got to be on that side. It hurts me because I got some Arizona futures too. I just think they're done. I just don't like how they've looked. Kyler sucks, man. He's bad.
Yeah, I'll take a nice bounce back spot against the old Patriots defense to get my quarterback going, even though Kyler Murray's not the best. I mean, we've seen bad quarterbacks do good things many times this year, i.e. Jameis Winston against the Broncos defense in Denver. So, I mean, that can happen. And pretty much anything can happen. Kyler Murray could definitely have a bounce back spot. And the fact that you guys like the Patriots makes me kind of like the stack more, because the reason I didn't love the stack was I wasn't really confident the Patriots can score, to keep this game flowing. But you guys sound pretty confident that you kind of like the Patriots in the spot and you think they could even maybe win, which makes me kind of like this game more from a stack standpoint, which is interesting because a lot of these guys are cheap. I like Trey McBride. Marvin Harrison's finally priced, I would say, correctly at 5,500. He's been in the 6 and 7K range pretty much the entire season. Now he's 5,500. Kind of like this Arizona stack a little bit more.
That Marvin Harrison price is nice. I agree with that.
You get Marvin Harrison and Trey McBride for 5,500 and 6K. Right. Even if you don't play Kyler Murray,
versus a bad defense.
Versus a bad defense, yeah. And if you like Dre May, like you guys are talking about, you could just take one of these two guys and pair him with Drake, and it's your bring back for your Patriots stack if you like Drake May here. So
that's the current lineup I have in my league, which I'm winning, by the way, thanks to the show and you guys helping me dial in and get better at fantasy.
Let's go. So you have Trey McBride in there right now?
I have Drake and I have one of them. I don't remember. I keep going back and forth between Harrison and McBride. I'm not sure which one I have in there now. I'm not really sure. I keep going back and forth on the two.
I'm still baffled that this dude has one touchdown all year. I still don't get it. I think he has. Did he not have one? No, he's got one.
Oh, he did? He did get one?
Yeah, he's got one touchdown this year. Oh. It was against Chicago. I'm looking at it right now. Chicago. So, yeah. All right. Let's move on here from this game. Let's go to Pittsburgh and Philadelphia here. 5.5 point spread. Tony, it's that 5.5 number. Philly at home favored. 43 is the total. Looks like in this game, we're probably going to get no George Pickens again. I think he's listed as doubtful. Or he's been ruled out. So that's official.
He has been ruled out?
That's what I'm looking at right now. It says hamstring has been ruled out for Sunday's game. So, yeah.
Wow. I assumed the last week was kind of just a precautionary for this week. I'm surprised.
Yeah. I mean, they said he has a grade 2 hamstring. That's normally 3 to 4 weeks, I think.
I think there's way more to it than the injury.
There has to be.
They're mad at him. Tomlin called him out. He's shooting the fake gun into the crowd. I feel like there's way more to it on both sides. I think Pickens is a little sour. I think they're sour with him. I don't know. I think there's more to it for sure.
So it's they probably didn't want it to escalate like how the 49ers.
AJ Brown last year and a little bit where he just did something and then just was gone the rest of the year. No one knew where he was. It just reminds me of that in its own way. It's not exactly the same spot, but
now you got AJ Brown fighting again with the quarterback. So I'm sure
these guys are just morons. They just always want to fight. He wants the ball more. Philly said, what have they lost? 2 games? What are you crying about, AJ? You freaking lost 2 games. Come on, man. Like
they're like
just,
7-1 in their last 8 or some shit, and AJ Brown's like crying or something, or
it's not
9,
the
whatever
time
it
to
is.
cry. I hate that stuff. And AJ they got him out of Tennessee for this nonsense too. Eventually, that's something like too. Jamar, I'm going to go back to but he never does this crap like this. He always like. I just hate this stuff. I hate it.
Jamar knows he has it good though with Joe Burrow. That's the one thing Jamar
I
knows.
agree with that, but and he's
Because
always played with them too for the most
think
part.
about this though. He sees all these guys, these studs, DK Metcalf, fucking AJ Brown. He sees all these guys that they either can't get the ball or they're just like not getting what they want. George Pickens, and they cry about it. And it's like, what more do you want? Like Joe Burrow's your quarterback, and he's going to get you the football consistently. So you're never going to be like someone unhappy.
Yeah, this is an interesting game though too. You just got really good defenses. Maybe two of the top 5 defenses in football. I just don't see how these teams really score that many points. So what'd you say? The total's 43. I gotta like the under here. I think it's a pretty easy under too. The way these teams like to play, run the ball, run the clock. I think it's maybe one of my favorite total plays of the year is the under. It just, I don't see how these teams score, and it just matches up perfectly. Like the number 1 against quarterback in all of football is Pittsburgh. They just smother teams. So Jalen Hurts, it's a horrible matchup for him. I just think it's going to play super slow. I don't think there's going to be points. And I think it's a terrible fantasy game at these prices. And so Jalen Hurts is literally projected like 4th or 5th on the week. And I got him dead last on the flow chart. Those are the easiest fades for me. I'm not saying you got to base everything on the flow chart, but if a guy's projected that high and I have him dead last, it's instant fade for me. Like I'm just not ever playing it. So I'm not going to go there. And I think the opposite. I think Philly will be able to totally shut down Pittsburgh too. So, I mean, how is Pittsburgh going to score on Philly in this spot? They're not. That's the answer. They're not. So I like the under, and I don't like any fantasy plays here.
Yeah, this offense without George Pickens is not. They might as well go back to Justin Fields. Literally, just let him run around.
Should. I would like them more in this spot if they played Fields.
Yeah, like honestly, without George Pickens, especially if you're not going to really use Calvin Austin,
there's no way Pittsburgh's not getting dusted in this game. The more I look at their roster.
Yeah, I'm with you. I like the under call though. That's a good call. The under is the call, but
the only way Pittsburgh can win is if it's like 10-7 or something, but they're not going to score.
Yep. ODB, we like the under. We're on the Philly side. What about you?
Yeah, this is kind of a tough call because I feel like this line is too high, but it feels like the sharps are all on the Eagles. I'm going to ride with the Steelers here, a lot because of the things you said. I do agree that both these offenses are going to have a tough time moving the ball, but with Pittsburgh, you have a good opportune seeking defense that can cause turnovers, maybe get good field position. They have a really good field goal kicker versus a very bad field goal kicker in Philly. You've got a field goal kicker in Boswell that's been making everything from long distance. In a close under game, I'm going to take the 5.5 points with the better special teams. You've got way the better coach in Tomlin versus Sirianni. Yeah, I mean, obviously the weapons don't really line up too well with Pittsburgh, but when you're Russ and you're just throwing moon balls down the field to try to get pass interference or jump balls, you got Mike Williams and Calvin Austin and guys who can come down with jump balls or cause pass interference. So I think that's possible. I could see, them using Jalen a little bit more out of the backfield for, in the screen game. Yeah, I don't really like anything from a fantasy perspective, but it's just too many points for me to lay a good team that's well coached, that plays hard with good special teams, versus a team that kind of has some infighting, has a coach who we don't really trust, with a shaky field goal kicker, laying almost a touchdown. It seems like there's just too many clicks on the Pittsburgh side for me to want to lay this. if Philly wins, it's going to be close, but I mean, they're just going to barely win the spread. But I could see Pittsburgh being in this game. They're the kind of team that like kind of plays to the level of the competition. So versus good teams, they do seem to kind of show up. I mean, they held, I know you guys don't really love Lamar in Baltimore, but I mean, they held Lamar in Baltimore to 15 points in Baltimore last time they played, and they won with special teams. So if you've played Lamar, you've kind of played Jalen. I mean, Jalen's like a worse version of Lamar, right? So yeah, I kind of just think there are more signs to me that point towards Pittsburgh. So I'm going to take Pittsburgh and kind of lay off the fantasy guys here.
Yeah, I think Lamar's played much better this year than Jalen. I'll just say that. Like, I think.
I agree. And so you're getting a worse version of Lamar versus, and you literally play Lamar twice a year and you've had success against him. So I think that, Jalen's going to succeed more against teams like, let's say I would like him more against like the Rams. The Rams have no running quarterbacks. Well, I guess they have Kyler but you know what I'm saying? Versus a team that doesn't get to face running quarterbacks. Pittsburgh, Tomlin has a blueprint on how to beat running quarterbacks. He's done it with Lamar. So I don't think Jalen goes off, which is, kind of Big T's point of like, let's fade Jalen, which I don't think anybody's going to play Jalen. So I don't think you're going out on a limb with fading him.
I was just projection number.
But just in general, like it's kind of one of these spots that like, I like this coaching staff and this defense versus a guy that plays similarly to a guy that they've owned in the past. So that's why I would lean Steelers.
All right. 2-1 on that game here. Let's go to the Colts and the Broncos. 4.5 point spread, 44 total. ODB, I'm just going to kick this thing right back to you. Your Broncos, your turn, buddy. What's up?
Well, I mean, everything's on the line here for me this game. I mean, I've been spouting Bo Nix since the preseason. I've been shitting on Anthony Richardson since the preseason last year. So, I mean, this is a game where I'm just going to get absolutely owned on Twitter, or, I'm going to be sending out some fun gifts. I really kind of feel like the market is swung too far on the Colts. Like, I don't know. I mean, the last time we saw the Colts, they were scoring on 4th down and a 2-point conversion to beat the Patriots. And yes, the Broncos D looked really bad against Jameis on Monday night, but I'm just going to throw that out as an outlier because this team has really dominated opposing offenses all year long. The Colts are a bend don't break defense, which sets up perfectly for Bo. He loves to throw the ball to, slants to Sutton, McLaughlin out of the backfield. I really think that Denver's just going to be able to do what they want. And this is a definite huge game for both these teams. If Denver wins this game, I think they're in the playoffs. And if Indy wins this game, they might actually be a favorite to make the playoffs over Denver. Because
they will 100% be, yeah.
The schedule really lines up great for the Colts and not that great for the Broncos. So this is a huge game for me. I'm personally extremely invested in the Broncos making the playoffs. So I'm really, really need this Broncos win. And I like it. I mean, I considered hedging off, but I just can't in good faith think that you've got a blitzing, confusing defense that has confused quarterbacks all year long versus the most easily confused quarterback in the NFL. So I don't really understand the Colts' love here. I mean, this is one of the few spots that really has a good home field advantage. The Denver is a really good home field advantage. The Colts have been pretty bad on the road and pretty good at home. I know I have my bow-colored glasses on, but I really just don't see how the Broncos are not a better team here. I don't really think the Colts are that much better than the Browns, and the Browns were getting 5.5, 6 a couple weeks ago, and the Colts are now getting 3.5, 4. To me, Colts and Browns are relatively similar teams. They both have dumb quarterbacks who can hit an explosive play, but also make a lot of mistakes. And a defense that you don't really trust that much going on the road to play in Denver. So I don't know. I think there's a little point of value here on the Broncos And I love the Broncos against the Browns, so I gotta like them here.
It's one for the Broncos, Tony. Broncos Colts, big game for the playoffs, especially the wild card right here. So who you got?
Yeah. The ironic part is it's like the biggest game of the week as far as the playoff picture, just because and believe it or not, it's crazy big for the Bengals to have any chance like this game. And the weirdest part is that even though the Broncos are ahead of they need the Broncos to win is the weirdest part for the Bengals side.
I agree.
Just because the Colts schedule's so easy that it'll be tough to catch the Colts if they win this game, which is huge for the Broncos. The Broncos got to win this game, which makes me like the Broncos. I just can't see Anthony Richardson going into Denver and winning in a must-win spot like this where both teams pretty much know if they win this game, they got a good chance to go to the playoffs. If they lose, they got trouble. They got troubles coming to get in. So this is like the first playoff game of the year for these teams. So I'm on the Broncos. I just can't take the Colts in this spot. I think the Broncos D got exposed by Jameis. He's a passer, though. Anthony Richardson's a runner. I don't see it. I like the Broncos.
Yeah, Tony kind of at the end just touched on what I was going to hit on, which is just like to beat the Broncos, I fully believe you got to be a team that just takes chances down the field, just down the field type passing, because you're not going to be a running football team and I think beat this Denver team, especially at home. And this Colts team is a running football team, not just with obviously their running back, but their quarterback. Like he is a run first quarterback. I don't think that wins here. And on top of it, this is a quarterback who consistently turns the football over. And we saw what happened with Jameis, even though he was having success. You turn the football over against a defense like Denver, you could be in big trouble because they might just be taking that thing back for 6. And the turnover battle is what's going to win Denver this game. I think Denver rolls. This to me, I almost feel as confident as I did when they played Atlanta, when I told you Atlanta had literally no chance in Denver. It's just a terrible matchup for Atlanta. I feel like this is a similar spot where ODB, I don't think you have to worry about people trolling you on Twitter because I think Broncos probably roll in this spot. So this is just a really good spot where you got another turnover-ridden quarterback who I don't think can sling the ball, like you need to beat someone like Denver, because I agree with you. I think Denver offensively is going to be able to do a lot more of the things. This Colts defense is not as good as the Cleveland defense, in my opinion, for sure. And I think Bo Nix is going to have a lot more success. I also think Bo Nix in that last game he was just kind of off, and he got kind of like rattled early, and then he was kind of just off for a little while in that game. But even with a not so great game from Bo Nix, they found a way to win. That's encouraging, even though they gave up like 40 points or whatever they did to Cleveland. That's super encouraging that they still found a way to win. So yeah, I think that they roll here in this spot. I really like Denver in the spot. So
I think Denver D is a really nice play in DFS because, when you're playing a D, to me, you either want a cheap D because, you've got to jam in some players, or if you're going to go up higher and spend, you really want it to be versus a team that is turnover prone. And I mean, we know Anthony Richardson's turnover prone, and we know that this Denver D is ball hawking. They blitz a lot, and they got guys who can house it if they get the ball. So, I mean, it's just a perfect recipe, and they're probably not going to be really high owned because I don't think a lot of people like spending $3,200 for defense. And, a lot of those people that are willing to spend defense, they might go all the way up to, some of those elite spots like Washington or Baltimore. So,
Scott, I love the Denver defense. 3,200. Give me the Denver defense. That's a great defensive play. I'm with you.
What do you think about Sutton? Right. Is Sutton? How's the match? How's the thing? The flow chart for Sutton?
Oh God, I shot it. It's got to be good though. I can pull it back up. It's got to be good though. I mean, Indy, it's got to be good.
Yeah, It's kind of an all-around good spot, I think, for Denver. The problem is you just don't know which running back, so you kind of have to go to the receivers because the running back's just a mess over there. But yeah, 2 more games left here. Let's go to Tampa Bay and the Chargers here. Chargers 2.5-point favorites coming home, 45.5 total in this one against Tampa Bay. Couple injury notes, both quarterbacks kind of banged up, but both I think are going to be good to go and play. And then you got like a bunch of, questionable tags with like Bucky Irving's questionable, and who knows if he plays. I think he's a true kind of game time decision. And then you got guys like Ladd McConkey, who's questionable. We'll see if he plays. I don't know if anything officials come out on him either way. Mike Evans, practiced today, so hopefully he should be good. Sterling Shepard didn't practice on Thursday. I don't know if he practiced today, so we'll see on that. But a few guys coming in questionable here. Tony, I'll throw this one to you first. Chargers, Tampa Bay. I feel like you've had a pretty good read on the Chargers too most of this year. Do you think it's a good spot for a team like the Chargers?
Just to polish that last game, too, because I looked it up on the flow chart. Indy's actually not near as bad as I thought they were against receiver. They're actually somewhat good against receiver, but could be style of games and stuff. I feel like they're worse just eyeball test, but the numbers, they're actually pretty good against receiver, just to throw that out there. The Chargers, I always like Chargers against teams that can't score, and I usually don't like them against teams that can score. They did beat the Bengals. Bengals, like always, blew the game, in my opinion, but they did win that. I like Tampa, though. I have to like Tampa here. I think Tampa's just a better team. I do want to check the injury statuses. I mean, you got key guys in there banged up. Bucky, Mike Evans, I think, still questionable, even though I think he'll play. But I like Tampa. If somehow Bucky's out again, I think Rachaad White is a great play against the Chargers. I think it's a Tampa spot. I think it's a pretty clear Tampa spot too. So the Chargers get hurt a lot losing J.K. Dobbins. So they try to play Gus. Gus is horrendous. So they got to play Vidal, and he's not ready. I mean, he's just not. He's not good. So I don't know. I think in McConkey banged up too. I think the Chargers are in big trouble. So I think it's a gift to get Tampa plus points in this situation. I think it's one of my stronger plays of the week too.
I like it. I like Atlanta, ODB, or not Atlanta, Tampa Bay. ODB, who do you like here?
Not a strong take. I don't really like the Chargers in general. I've been picking against them lately. I don't really think they're that good. I do think this might be the first time that the Chargers have had a home field advantage. I mean, who are Tampa fans? Tampa fans don't live in LA. Tampa fans aren't traveling to LA. This team's kind of starting to get the fan base, and I don't really trust the Tampa defense. So I love Ladd McConkey in this game. Assuming that he plays, I think he's like one of my first guys in the lineup. Tampa Bay is, I think, number one on Big Anthony's flow chart to play against, and he's just such a huge part of that offense, and he's priced pretty cheaply. So, I mean, you're getting a Cooper Kupp, type role when, without pre-Puka out of Ladd McConkey, and you're getting him for 6,300 against the worst secondary in the NFL. So I think McConkey is a slam dunk first guy in my lineup play. I lean Tampa just because I don't really trust the Chargers, but I don't love it. So yeah, I'm just gonna kind of be more fringy on this game than Big T, but I don't have any because I just don't really have any conviction either side.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, we could see some points in this spot too. Tampa Bay's defense not good, and it got even worse. They lost Antoine Winfield, one of their top defensive safeties there. So the defense is banged up big time and just not good in general. So I could see taking some fantasy plays from it, but we got to see who's in, who's out. I agree. Ladd would be in a really good spot if he was a full go and everything like that. And if he's out, you might get some value on, one of these receivers here because
Palmer
it's a
seems to
really
be
good
pretty
matchup.
heavily involved. I mean, Palmer really, he's a nice deep threat. He was open a couple times against the Chiefs, and Herbert just missed him. So yeah, if there's no McConkey, I would probably default to Palmer. I want somebody in this game. The Chargers pass catchers are so thin that whoever the number one guy there is should just get peppered. I mean, you have no Disley. I don't know how the smart guy is, but 2,600 versus
he made a nice catch
horrendous secondary.
Last game. He made a nice catch last game.
I could definitely see putting him at tight end. I mean, the
and I know
tight ends
Tampa
is nice.
Bay on the flow chart is one of the worst tight end spots, or one of the best tight end spots, I will say, for tight ends. I'm pretty sure. So
I mean, the only issue with Stone Smart is he's going to be mega chalk. But
chalk.
I agree with you guys, though. There's nothing wrong with a $2,600 mega chalk play that's in a good spot. So
the worst part about those chalk plays, though, Tony, is like we said, he could like bust and get 6, but still be on the winner.
Easily.
Like that's the annoying part. Like he can get 6.
Well, I mean, the good thing is, he just opens you. He opens you up from playing an Adam Thielen to getting to play St. Brown. I mean, like that's just a huge difference, or whatever. I'm just throwing names out.
Does have upside too, because this matchup's good, and they have no one to really. Like, imagine if McConkey's out. They really don't have anyone to throw to that much. I mean, Quentin can't catch, and he's only a deep guy. Palmer, if McConkey's out, like, I genuinely think you could play Herbert. Even though I don't like the Chargers, Herbert, Palmer, Stone Smart, that is a cheap double stack. Like, that has an upside. Big upside.
You can bring it back with Rashad if Bucky's out. Or Mike Evans, like that is super cheap and stuff like that.
Cheap.
So,
I might change from May to Herbert.
Palmer at 4,600, even if McConkey's in, is a really good price. Josh Palmer's good when he's healthy.
The thing that stinks about Justin Herbert is he's banged up. I don't know how much running we're
He's got that damn plantar fasciitis I got too, where he's jacked up on his foot.
And he sprained his ankle, I think, was the other. So he got like a thigh contusion, and then like he sprained his ankle on top of it. So, but he's tough. I'm just saying, like,
he's tough
for his upside.
Cheap, and it's against Tampa is the key, though.
Is the key.
I mean,
that's the key.
I won the week. I played Bryce Young stack versus Tampa. So I mean, if I'm willing to play a Bryce Young stack, I got to be willing to play a Justin Herbert stack, right?
These prices are really good, really good.
Yeah. So. Yeah. If you think Tampa can score, then this stack is to the moon for sure. So the more we talk about it, the more I like this game. All right, let's go to the game of the week. It's the Bills, back on the Bills here. Bills and Lions, 2.5 point spread. Lions are favored in Detroit. It's a 54.5 total. Bills coming off of just an absolute banger of a game. Tony called it. He was all over it on the Wood Show. The Josh Allen stack with Puka on the bring back. Josh Allen scores like 700 points. Tony, do you worry a little bit about like coming off of a game like that, him getting a little more ownership just because of that factor? And on top of it, it's the highest total on the board, and they get Detroit.
It's still the same thing, though. People just won't pay up for quarterback. It's the same thing everyone said last week where you just can't pay up. I mean, I heard it on all of
yeah, but no one was playing him last week. Like now people saw it. So like some people are
numbers though. Like when a guy's projected 2% owned and is like just the way it checks that he just can't be owned. At the very most, he would be like 10. I mean, at the absolute most. Okay. But the problem is I don't love it as much this week. Detroit coming off a little bit of who did Detroit play last week? It was a little bit of a stinker.
Green Bay.
Yeah.
But it was on Thursday.
They didn't play great, but now they got extra time off, like ODB just said. I have to like Detroit in this spot. I just have to. I feel like they're the type of team, too, with Dan Campbell, that wants to just assert themselves as the best team I think it's Detroit all day here, and it's tough to go LA, play the shootout like you said. Now they're back in Detroit.
Hey, Tony, you want a hate to see moment? Look at who's calling me right now. Can you guys see that?
No, who's it say?
It says,
I see text or something.
Can't
Travis,
see
he doesn't even know we're on the show. That's pitiful, Travis. You don't even know we're on the show. Very hurtful.
He's going to watch the show like 2 hours later.
I agree.
He's going to watch the show 2 hours later.
When you're watching this tomorrow, Travis, we feel disrespected right now from whenever you get a call from a coworker during the show, that's hurtful. It's very hurtful. I'm going with Detroit here to polish my takes from the show out, though. I like Detroit.
All right, ODB, Detroit, Buffalo, where you at?
Yeah, I love Detroit in this spot. I think it's a great spot for them. They have long rest versus late-ish game across the country, flying back to the snow after you lost a game where you put it all out on the line, and then you got to fly to Detroit and play the most physical team in the NFL. You've got a Buffalo Bills defense that is depleted and hurt. They can't stop the run. You've got the best running team in the NFL. You have a quick passing game, which we just saw what Puka did to him. This is a great spot for the Lions. If this was just a different spot in the schedule, then I could see it. But I think this 2.5 point line is completely disrespectful. It's saying that these two teams are equal and that the spot doesn't matter. I think the Lions might be a touch better but the spot is just got to be worth some points. And from a DFS standpoint, I could really see Detroit just taking the air out of the ball with short passes to Monra and Montgomery and Gibbs running it. I really like Detroit, and obviously in this game you can play any of these fantasy guys. I think Shakir is a really good play, honestly. He's cheap, and I think that Detroit can get beat out of the slot. I don't think their slot corner is very good, and I think Shakir can kind of beat this defense. So I like Shakir, and I like Detroit a lot in this football game.
All right, Detroit, and I will go with Detroit. Detroit is winning this game. I think they can run the football on the Bills, and I think you just got to keep old Josh Allen on the sidelines. I think the Bills or the Lions, I think, got two guys that will be able to do that. So I think it'll be a fun game, but they control the tempo. I think they win.
Oh, go ahead.
That was.
I had one thing that annoyed me last week about because I had Josh Allen and I had Puka, but I also had
him
Amari
naked.
Cooper. I also had him. I was naked watching it too, but I had Amari Cooper who had 4 million air yards. He could have gone for like 50 points too, but he just got missed a few times. His price is still 5,300, so I think I would rather play him. Tupac was last week. I think Amari at 5,300 is a pretty good play on the run back. But I agree with you guys. I think they take the air out of it. There's not going to be near as many plays as last week.
Yeah. Yep. I agree. All right. That is all the games here, guys. We got the Wood Show on Sunday, 10 a.m. Eastern time. Me, Big T, and Wiley will be on for that. Check us out at runpuresports.com. RPS15 is the promo code for 15% off. If you guys want to check us out, you can use that for any package on the site, 15%. And if not, just hit the like button on the video. It's free. It's easy to do. You just hit that like button, subscribe to the YouTube channel if you're not already subscribed. And that'll do it. We got an NBA show in about an hour or so. For Big T, ODB, and myself, JSU, we'll see you guys next week. Till then, good luck in your contest. We're out.